It's kind of embarrassing to admit, but before I became a professional poker player, I struggled to win at poker for a long time. But there were 15 things in particular that I removed from my game that really made a big difference for me at the poker tables, and I think some of these might help you out as well, so let's jump into it. Number one, folding too easy. So I used to get pushed around all the time at the poker tables. Let me give you an example. You raise it up with pocket eights, the 8 of hearts and the 8 of diamonds, and one of those aggressive players re-raises you. So what do you do here? Well, most people will just make the call, and I think that's a good option here. I don't really like re-raising because I think that just overplays our hand. So let's go see the flop now of the Jack of clubs, 7 of hearts, and 3 of diamonds. So they make a bet into you. So what do we do in a spot like this? Well, I think once again, guys, we have middle pair here. You just want to make the call. Turn comes down with the 4 of hearts, and they bet again. Now, this is the crucial point in the hand where a lot of people will give up, and I used to give up myself as well. But guys, let me tell you, you need to grow a backbone at the poker table against these specific players in particular. Make the call here. Most of the time they're bluffing. Bottom line, stop folding so easy versus these bluffy players. Number 2, playing junk pre-flop. So guys, this is an absolute killer, and it hurt me for so long. Let me give you some examples. A hand like a Jack 7 suited, a 9-6 suited, 4-3, ace-6, king-10. Guys, let me tell you, all of these hands will not be long-term winners for you. You are only costing yourself money by playing junky garbage like this before the flop. That's what amateurs do. You're better than that. By the way, if you just want some simple charts to show you exactly what hands to play in all situations, I have included those inside my free poker cheat sheet. I'll leave a link below this video. Number 3, telling bad beat stories. So guys, a bad beat story is when you tell everybody about how you are so unlucky, your pocket ace is lost for the 4th time in a row, you're cursed, the poker gods hate you. Guys, let me just clear the floor here and give you the straight truth. Nobody cares. I promise you, nobody cares about your bad beat stories at the poker table for one simple reason. Everybody else at your poker table firmly believes that they are the most unlucky poker players in the world. This is how every poker player thinks. So when you peddle your bad beat stories at the table, I promise you, you are only causing yourself more pain. This is a single player game. Nobody cares about your bad beats. The best thing you can do when you take a bad beat at the poker table is get your head straight and move on to the next hand. Number 4, fighting for every pot. So guys, this one used to kill me, and that is trying to bluff a calling station. These are the players who never fold anything, and specifically, this is our fishy friends. Let me give you an example. You raise it up with the king of hearts and the jack of spades, and a recreational player, aka a fish, makes the call. Flop comes down with the 7 of diamonds, 6 of spades, and 5 of diamonds. Guys, I'm not going to beat around the bush here. In a spot like this, on an absolute disaster flop like this, often I will just check and give up. And I know that's going to be shocking to a lot of people out there, but you have to understand that we have absolutely nothing on this board. We have no pair, we have no draw, and even more importantly, this board absolutely smacks the range of a recreational player. They have so many different flush draws, straight draws, a pair, 2 pair, 3 of a kind. Bottom line, guys, versus the recreational players who don't fold anything to begin with, on an incredibly coordinated, wet, and draw-heavy board like this, they're not folding anything. We can't even beat ace high here. The best thing you can possibly do here is check and fold to any significant bet and cut your losses now. Number 5, limping along. What you want to do is pick up the free money instead, and limping, by the way, is when you just call the blind before the flop in poker. I would highly suggest that you stay away from that. Let me give you an example. You're in a $1, $2 cash game. You look down at the old ace-6 of diamonds, a beautiful hand that I suggest playing in a lot of situations. You are in the big blind, meaning your last act before the flop, and you notice 3 people limp into the pot before you. Now, a lot of people will just wrap the table here, check, and go see their free flop, but I take a different approach. Once I started raising these people up, I started having a lot more success. I would recommend raising it to like $15, $20 here. Let them know you're serious. Let them know that it's going to cost them money to enter a pot with you. There is no free lunch when I'm at your poker table. They're limping in with all sorts of nonsense like an 8-5 suited, a king-9, a pocket 3s. Make these hands fold right now, or if they want to make the call, that's fine as well, because we're going to stick another bet in their face ace on the flop. Guys, always remember, aggressive poker is winning poker. Don't limp along like everyone else. Don't do what everyone else does at the poker table and somehow expect different results. Most people lose at poker, and we're going to talk about that more coming up. Number 6, letting them off the hook. So guys, I have one simple rule at the poker tables. I never leave money on the table. Let me give you an example. You raise it up with the ace of hearts and the king of clubs, and once again, one of our fishy friends makes the call. Now, this is a recreational player. They just play the game for fun. They don't take the game seriously like you do. So the flop comes down with the king of diamonds, 8 of spades, and 5 of spades. So boom, we have hit top pair, top kicker on this board. You just want to make a strong bet, but they decide to make the call. So there's a lot of draws on this board. A hand like 7-6, for example, has an open-ended straight draw. If they have any 2 spades in their hand, they have a flush draw. So you absolutely want to bet here 100% of the time. Let's go see the turn now of the 3 of hearts. A total brick. This did not complete any of the draws. And remember, guys, we're up against a fishy player type. What do we know about them? They don't fold anything. So what do you want to do here? Make another strong bet. This is a huge mistake that a lot of my students make, is they'll just check here. They'll get tricky. Never do that at the poker tables. The river comes down with the queen of hearts. What should you do? Once again, guys, never let them off the hook here. Believe me, recreational players will find a way to call here. They'll call with a hand like a 7-8, a 6-5. They will find a reason to call you. Make another strong bet here on the river. Do not let them off the hook. Always get full value with big hands like this, and you're going to have a lot more success. Number 7, paying off the rocks. So guys, sometimes a 1-pair hand is no good, and sometimes it's pocket aces, unfortunately. You raise it up with 2 red aces, and a rock calls you now. A rock is the tightest player at the table. They're sitting in a corner. They're wearing the sunglasses. They're covering the mouth. They're super serious, and specifically, they've been folding every hand for the last hour because they're a rock. They only play the best hands possible. So they didn't re-raise us before the flop, so we're going to assume that they probably don't have a hand like pocket kings, pocket queens, pocket jacks. So what are we putting this player on? Well, we're specifically putting them on a lower pocket pair, specifically a hand like pocket nines, pocket fours, or pocket threes. Flop comes down with a 9-4-3. All of those hands are really happy right now. You make a bet, they call. Now, a lot of rocks will slow play a set in this situation. By the way, it doesn't mean they necessarily have a set here. They could have a hand like pocket tens. They could have a hand like pocket sevens as well. But when they call you here on the flop, they have something. This is not the recreational player who's going to call you with ace deuce here for something to do. Turn comes down with the 10 of diamonds. What should you do? Well, guys, you should just make another strong bet here with your pocket aces, but they raise. Now, this is the critical point in a hand. That's why I put the alarm bell on your screen there. You need to understand that this player is screaming from the mountaintops right now that they have your 1-pair hand beat. Whether they hit the set on the flop or they hit it on the turn with pocket tens, they have you smoked, or they have 2-pair with a hand like 9-10. You absolutely need to fold your hand now when the tightest and most passive player raises you on what I call the big money streets, the turn in the river. Believe me, they always have you crushed here. Number 8, stop the perfectionism. So guys, this one used to be a big pain point for me at the poker table, and it took me a long time to realize that it's okay if my bluffs get called sometimes. That's actually a good thing. Let me give you an example. You raise it up with the 8-7 of diamonds. And once again, if you just want to know all of the hands that I suggest playing in all situations at the poker tables, I have included those inside my free poker cheat sheet. You can study the charts for yourself. You'll never need to guess again what hands to play. I will leave a link to my free poker cheat sheet in the description below this video. 8-7 of diamonds is on those charts, so you raise it up on the button and a tag calls in the big blinds. Now, tag stands for tight and aggressive. This is one of the better players at the poker tables. This is one of the regular opponents you're going to face on a day in and day out basis. This is not a fish, so let's keep that in mind. So let's skip ahead all the way to the river here. The board reads the 9 of diamonds, 4 of spades, 10 of hearts, king of clubs, and ace of diamonds. So this is a typical spot where I am likely to fire 3 shells versus a strong player like this, and what that means is that I'm going to bet on the flop, turn, and river. Now let me explain why. On the flop here with the 9-4-10, we have flopped an open-ended straight draw, so this is a standard spot for me to make a bet and try to get them to fold. We can catch any of the 4 remaining jacks in the deck to make a straight, or any of the 4 remaining 6s in the deck to make a straight. We also have a backdoor flush draw. If it comes with running diamonds on the turn and river, we'll make a flush. When the turn came with the king of clubs, we're also going to bet again on this card. This is an excellent scare card to lay the hammer down, make a turn semi-bluff. I've made multiple videos here on the channel talking talking about that before. And finally on the river, the ultimate scare card, the ace of diamonds. I'm going to be emptying the clip on this ultimate scare card because I know that I'm going to be able to get them to fold a 9, to fold a 10, and possibly even fold a king. We have nothing at all. This is a standard bluff spot for me, but this player snap calls you on the river, flipping over the ace 9 of hearts. They rivered the 2 pair. This is what we call top of range, guys, and it just means that your bluff is not going to work in this particular hand, but it doesn't mean that you made a bad bluff. This is actually a highly profitable bluff because once again, there are so many other hands that you're going to force them to fold on this river. So guys, eliminate the perfectionism from your game. Your bluffs will get called sometimes, and that's not a bad thing. Number 9, only re-raising with premiums. So guys, let me tell you something you already know. You want to re-raise, aka 3-bet, before the flop with all of your strong hands, premium hands, like a pocket aces, pocket kings, pocket queens, ace king. I don't need to tell you that, but what you might not know is that you also want to 3-bet light with a bunch of speculative hands like a 9-8 of hearts, an ace 6 of spades. When you can work some re-raises like this into your pre-flop game, it is going to make you infinitely more difficult to play against, because let me ask you, if somebody is only re-raising you with hands like pocket aces and pocket kings, what do you do when they raise you before the flop? Well, you just fold your hand, of course. When you know that your opponent is capable of re-raising you with a 9-8 of hearts, though, it plants that seed of doubt in your mind, and that's what you always want to do at the poker table. So in particular, I like to 3-bet light versus the weaker regular players. Don't do this versus the fish, because once again, they're just going to call with anything. And I like to target the players that specifically fold to a 3-bet 70% or more of the time before the flop. Now, specifically, if you use a HUD in online poker, you can get these stats on your screen, and you'll find links to all the tools that I use at the poker table below this video. Number 10, getting fancy. So guys, this is what amateurs do. They get fancy at the poker table. You raise it up with 2 red aces, pocket rockets, the best hand ever created, and a tight player calls you. Now, once again, this is one of these players that only plays really strong hands. Flop comes down with the queen of diamonds, 9 of spades, and 3 of diamonds, so they check. What should you do here? Well, guys, you want to make a strong bet here to make all of their second best hands, like an ace queen, a king queen, or a queen jack, or a 9-8, pay you off here. But for some reason, you decide to just check here because you saw some famous poker player in a high stakes game on YouTube do that once in $1 million cash game. Guys, in your $1, $2 game at the casino, this is just going to go completely over their head, and you're just costing yourself money here. So let's go see the turn now of the deuce of spades. They check it to you once again, and for some inexplicable reason, you decide to get all fancy again and check behind. Guys, let me tell you, from my 20 years in this game, most of that as a professional poker player, you are absolutely shooting yourself in the foot by doing this at the poker table. This is, in a nutshell, why most people lose at poker, because they don't bet when they have a strong hand. Your opponent can't call you if you keep checking, and believe me, your fancy play is accomplishing exactly 0 versus beginner level poker players in low stakes games, which is what 95% of people watching this video play. I know it seems counterintuitive, but when you have a strong hand in poker, the best thing you can possibly do is just do the most obvious thing possible, and that's to make a strong bet and let them overthink the situation and convince themselves that you're on a bluff. Number 11, giving free cards. So guys, you do not want to let them draw for free at the poker tables. You raise it up with the ace king, that's the ace of diamonds and the king of clubs, and a regular player calls you. So this is one of these decent players who is watching videos like this. They take the game seriously just like you do. Flop comes down with the ace of hearts, 8 of spades, and 7 of spades. You make a bet, they call. Pretty standard stuff here. We have flop top pair, top kicker on this board. I would also make the bet here very often, even when I don't hit top pair, but this is a standard situation where you just want to make a strong bet. Turn comes down with the 3 of diamonds. What should you do? Guys, you absolutely want to make another strong bet here. Let's analyze this flop here and think about what they can have. On a board like an ace of hearts, 8 of spades, and 7 of spades, there are multiple straight draws, flush draws. For example, a hand like a 10-9 of diamonds had an open-ended straight draw. A king, queen of spades has a flush draw. You do not want to give these hands a free card hard, and always keep your foot on the gas pedal when you have a strong hand like this, and you're going to have a lot more success. Number 12, giving an F. Guys, honestly, when I just stopped giving a crap, that's when my results ironically skyrocketed at the poker tables. For example, I've got ace king, I'm up against one of these aggressive maniacs, they re-raise me before the flop. Just go all in. Force them to a decision. Stop looking for a better spot like so many other players do. When I finally decided to just stop giving a crap about other people and what they're representing at the poker table and just shove all the chips right in their face, ironically my results improved a lot. Number 13, showing bluffs. So this is another thing I had to stop doing. When I bluff at the poker table, I never show. Why is that? It's actually very simple, guys. I don't give out free information at the poker tables. After all, nothing in life is free, and neither should be seeing your poker hand. When you flash the old bluff at the poker table, all you are doing is giving away free information to everybody else that they can use against you in a future hand. Guys, do not get your ego involved in this game. When you make a successful bluff at the poker table, muck your cards face down, and if they ask you what you had, tell them to pay the price and you'll get to see next time. Number 14, complaining. So I used to complain all the time about how my pocket aces and pocket kings lost all the time, and once I actually just ran the math and realized that a totally random hand is going to beat pocket aces 15% of the time and pocket kings 18% of the time, ironically my results started to improve dramatically. Guys, these are not trivial amounts. You have to make peace with the fact that you're going to lose a significant amount of the time, even when you have the very best hands in the game. And number 15, counting my future riches. So guys, let me give you some sobering numbers to finish up this video here. 80% of poker players will lose in the long run. Yes, 4 out of every 5 players at your poker tables, despite what they might say or what they might be bragging about, they are losing poker players over the long run. That is just the proven statistical analysis over decades that are published all over the internet. And of the 20% who do win, the vast majority of those will be very small winners. In fact, most of them will be break even. And it is less than 2% of people in this game that will make significant money. And what I mean by that is, say, making over $10,000 in their entire career. And now let me give you the most sobering fact of all. 0.1% of all poker players who play this game will ever make life-changing money, and what I mean by that is 7 figures or more. Guys, please keep this in mind next time the old table trash talker is giving it to you. Almost everybody in this game will be humbled over the long term. Almost nobody gets rich playing this game. Work hard on your poker game away from the tables, stay humble, and you'll give yourself the best opportunity to win. Alright guys, like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. And once again, if you want to know my entire strategy to absolutely crush the small and mid-stakes games, make sure you grab a copy of my free poker cheat sheet. That will be the top link in the description below. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. All the best at the poker tables, unless you're on mine.